the good separation results, right? What else other than this? That's the very fundamental one. But look at this direct result. Any additional kind of comments or concerns? Any part is not done well other than the basic separation? Yeah. How about, we know that there are five people inside the car. The good thing is we have done the study, we've done the experiment, and we are able to figure out all 5 people. All 5 chemicals are there. But how about you take a closer look of compound number 4 and number 5? Do you have any concern? What happened between 4 and 5?
The retention time.
Huh?
The retention time.
What is the issue?
Too long.
Too long. Exactly. So what happens between 4 and 5 is it takes a very, very long time. You see, nothing happens, right? So actually between 4 and 5, we need probably close to 20 minutes or even longer. And during these 20 minutes, you can imagine in the lab, if it happens in the lab, you just sit there 20 minutes, do nothing. Just wait for the results. And that is not a productive. In terms of separation, of course, it is perfectly well, right? The separation is done well. But in terms of efficiency, it's not good because you have waited for more than 20 minutes. So if we can find a way to accelerate for this part, accelerate the process and get the separation done well and in a relatively faster manner, that would be better, right? So straight away look at this, there are 2 potential and 2 major concerns. Then we can think from along the line and see how to further improve. So if we read the question carefully now, if you understand this, okay, come with the very first question. Very, very important. This one we did a similar question before. We actually practiced, we exercised this question before. So what is this question? So GC technique, always very important, is for separation. Then the requirement is, do you know the GC separation well? So I will give you this kind of question. Either you comment in more generic manner, or like the previous question, I give you, let's say 3 specific compounds, let's say I mix them together. Xylene, ethanol, right? Whatever, mix them together. Then give you this GC experiment conditions. Then please predict the elution order. Which compound will come out from the GC instrument first? Which one the last? So you need to be able to figure out the elution order, and also very, very importantly, you need to explain the rationale, your reasoning, right? Very clearly, one by one. Is it okay? So that's why you can see this first question, right? CA is a question with 5 marks. Means there are quite a number of these key points you need to mention in terms of the separation principle. So that's why you can get all 5 marks. Right? So that's why I cannot emphasize further how important is this type of question, right? Elution order, you really need to understand fully, and you need to be able to explain the elution order and reasons why different compounds are evaluated in this sequence, in this order, right, under the given condition. So that's why you need to explain the separation principles logically point by point. Right? It's basically you need to look at the polarity of the second phase. You need to look at the polarity of your analytes, and then the interaction between these two. So for this case, because this case we don't know the identity of the individual compounds, so that's why we can comment in the generic from the generic perspective. And it's given that this particular GC column is a non-polar column. So that's why straight away we know that if your target analyte is polar in nature, then they will have less interaction with the non-polar column. So that's why more polar type compound will come out first. Then the non-polar kind of compound will have strong interaction with non-polar column. They will come up at the later stage. They will come up slowly. So that's why straight away we can give the illusion order. So the polarity, the compound with the highest polarity will come out very first. The compound with the lowest polarity will come out the last. So you write in very generic. But if the question provide you with very specific compound names, then you need to go into the individual compounds and comment on their polarity, comment on the structure, and then give the illusion order. Okay, so again, I emphasize again, and this type of question is very important, right? It shows you fundamentally whether you understand the GC separation or not. Okay, let's look at question number 2. You comment on the resolution. Okay, this one we shared just now. Actually, it's a concern, right? Based on the actual experiment. So you may comment this way. Resolution for compound number 2 to number 4 is an issue, right? It's not well separated. But then for compound A, from the chromatograph, compound A is the separation is done well, is acceptable. Compound 5, although the additional issue is the compound 5, although is separated from the rest, but look at the chromatograph, the peak is quite broad. Then in analytical chemistry, in PIA, this is a potential issue because that may affect the quality of our study, the quality of our investigation. So if it is necessary, usually we need to correct that. We need to find ways to further improve. So that's how you comment, right? Because it just asks you to comment in very generic manner. In terms of resolution, we can comment the way. C, right? So now you understand there's an issue there, there's concern there. Then how to further improve means optimization. So during lecture, we explain in detail, right? So in GC, then this particular technique, we call it GC temperature programming, is a very powerful technique that we can apply to help us to optimize the GC method, to optimize the GC performance, right? that's why for the first few compounds, the original compound number 1, because the separation was done quite well. So that's why the original condition for the very first part, you can consider, you can even keep the condition. Then to come to compound number 2 to number 4, because the separation was not done well. So that's why the idea is you need to give a bit more time for these few compounds for them to be separated completely. So that's why the implication is the original method, right? The temperature may be too high for this range. So that's why you need to lower the temperature to allow these few compounds to have enough time to interact and separate from each other. But then once you have the first few compounds separated, well separated, then you need to quickly increase the temperature to accelerate the elution of the last compound, because it stays inside the column for too long. So the original method, the temperature for the lower part, the later part, is considered too low. We need to quickly raise the temperature. So overall, let's consider temperature programming. You adjust the temperature according to different phases and adjust the temperature to increase at a different rate. So that's why it's called temperature programming. All right, we said we have 2 more. So if you apply the temperature programming, and what would you expect the so-called improved separation, improved results? I show you one of the possible scenarios. Right. So if we modify the GC experiment, the method parameters, if we can get a chromatogram, a result like this, so that's considered much better. Why is that so? Because there are 2 key objectives. One is all 5 compounds based on this chromatogram, all of them, they are well separated. That means in terms of resolution, they are good. And in terms of work efficiency, that means to get all 5 products, all 5 compounds separated, we just need, in this case, we just need about 20 minutes. Just now, the original experiment, we need to carry out the experiment for more than 30 minutes. So that's an improvement. Okay? So that's why you see between compound 4 and 5, we successfully shortened the waiting time very, very significantly. Right? We just need to wait for just a few minutes, then the compound 5 comes out. And then the efficiency, the separation efficiency also improved. How do we know? Because the original chromatogram for compound 5, the peak shape is quite broad. Right? Now this one is narrow and sharp. Right? So, which means we already fine-tuned the method parameters. We have improved the separation efficiency significantly. Right? So that's why in your quiz, right, your term test, you need to be able to draw the chromatogram. Even it's just an indication. You need to be able to draw the chromatogram, right, correctly to indicate that is your expected GC experiment outcome. Okay, the last question is: Can you suggest 2? What was the question? Can you suggest 2 detectors for the experiment?
FID and PTC.
Yeah. Actually, for this question, because it's is very generic. No, there's no very specific information given. So means it's free for us to decide which particular detector, right? So you can mention, you can use FID, you can use TCD, you can use NS detector, whatever you like. Because so far we have not seen the very specific restrictions. Unless it says that some of these compounds, they are presented in a very, very trace level, then you need to be careful. Then probably you need to rule out the TCD detector first. Because we say TCD is a universal type, it's considered an advantage, but usually TCD detector is not that sensitive. Okay? Alright, so I just share with you some of the examples, the 10 test questions, right? So to give you a sense of how the 10 test paper will look like. And basically you need to review all 3 topics. For these 2 techniques, you need to understand the underlying, the technique principles, and the instrumentation, and the application. Okay, what we have not discussed in more detail is the application. What do I mean by application? Application, let me ask you, when you consider to apply this GC technique for your study, I mean for your, let's say you have a research area. Now you need to consider GC technique. So basically, what will be your task? There are two. One is usually you need to confirm or you need to figure out what exactly is the compound in the product. That's called identification. Compound identification. And then secondly is like the experiments you did previously, you need to figure out the quantity. If that particular compound is presented in the product, you need to figure out how much is the for instance the ethanol in rice wine. You need to figure out how much. Is it 1% or 0.5%? Right? That's a quantification. So can you quickly share how can you figure out the identity of the ethanol in GC?
Easy use the internal standard to.
Wait, you mean how to figure out?
What is the principle for us to be able to identify compounds
Oh, whether can use in GC or not, is it?
in GC?
Whether you can
Is
change
it the its volatility?
paper.
So that's why you need to go and review this part. For GC compound identification, we always go back to the retention time. We say that in the GC experiment, given that let's say the method is fixed, means that all the conditions, parameters is fixed, then the compound retention time is characteristic to that particular compound. So that's why you first find a standard, a pure chemical, right? A pure, let's say we study ethanol. You need to try to find a pure ethanol and use your instrument to run first and figure out retention time. Let's say 1.2 minutes. Then for compound identification is that as long as there's a compound in an unknown product, you screen different products, right? As long as you can find a peak at this particular retention time, 1.2 minutes, then the conclusion is ethanol must be there because the principle is the retention time now is characteristic to that particular compound, right? So that's called identification principle. Then come to quantification. Just now we discussed. By now you should understand all three different methods for quantification. First one, the very classical standard curve. Then secondly, standard addition. Then lastly, the latest one, internal center. You need to understand the advantages of individual methods. Means basically under what circumstance you need to specifically apply, let's say, standard addition, right? And you need to know how you usually carry out. You need to be able to describe step by step how you do it, right? All right. I think with that we have very briefly covered all three topics, key points, right? So what we'll do next is so for today, there's still 1 hour timetable study time for you. You can stay here, right? Or you want to go library also can. Anyway, I'm available. Okay, you can contact me. I'm available if you have doubts to clarify. Then share with your friends, right? Classmates. This Thursday morning,